Solve the simultaneous equations 5x plus y equals 21, x minus 3y equals 9. So in order to solve these two equations, we'll need to make one of these coefficients the same, and then add these two equations together to eliminate one of the algebraic terms. So if we label these equation 1 and equation 2, in equation 2 we have a negative 3y, and in equation 1 we have a y. So what we can do is multiply equation 1 by 3, so that we can then add these two equations together. So if we multiply both sides of this equation by 3, 5x multiplied by 3 is 15x, y multiplied by 3 will give us 3y, and then 21 multiplied by 3 will give us 63. And we can label this equation 3. So now what we can do is add equation 2 to equation 3. So x add 15x will give us 16x. Negative 3y add 3y will give us 0. And then 63 add 9 gives us 72. So this therefore tells us that 16x is equal to 72. So now in order to work out the value of x, we'll want to get the x term on its own on one side of this equation. So the first thing we can do is divide both sides of this equation by 8. And this tells us that 2x is equal to 9. And then finally we can divide both sides of this equation by 2. And this tells us that x is equal to 4.5. So we can write this into the answer box. So now the final thing we need to do for this question is substitute this value of x into one of the original equations to work out the value of y. So using equation 2, x minus 3y equals 9, and when x is equal to 4.5, then this means that 4.5 minus 3y is equal to 9. So as we did with the x term, we're going to want to rearrange this equation so that we have y on its own on one side of the equation. So first we can add 3y to both sides of this equation. And this gives us 4.5 is equal to 9 plus 3y. Next we can minus 9 from both sides of this equation, which gives us negative 4.5 is equal to 3y. And now the final thing we can do is divide both sides by 3. And this tells us that negative 1.5 is equal to y. So we can write this into our answer box. And these are our final answers. Now this question's worth 3 marks. We'll get our first mark for eliminating one of the variables. We'll get our second mark for substituting the value of x into one of the original equations. And we'll get our third mark for having both the x and the y terms correct.